So there are really four primary economic indicators that I think all investors should pay attention to, and those are GDP growth, the unemployment rate, the rate of inflation, and what interest rates are doing. And so let's start with GDP growth. GDP growth or decline, as we saw a few years ago, is important to watch because if the economy is growing faster, certainly businesses are going to be doing better. It's pretty simple. And that'll also manifest itself in the unemployment rate. So if the GDP growth is stagnant, or if you see it go into a decline or a recession, obviously that's going to play out in the rate of unemployment. More people aren't going to have jobs, and so you're going to have people that don't have the disposable income to spend to then generate the GDP growth in the economy. So just looking at those two things will give you a good sense as to just the overall health of the economy. If you have a high unemployment rate, that'll usually be hand in hand with a slow GDP growth or no GDP growth, which is then going to play out in how well stocks and bonds perform. Now, if you look at the other two, if you look at interest rates and the rate of inflation, first of all, if interest rates are going up, that's typically an indication of a healthier economy, because as the economy is growing, you're going to see rates go up. As the Fed taps the brakes, they don't want to let the growth get too far ahead of itself. As rates go up, bonds typically don't perform as well. So bonds move inversely with interest rates. If you also look at the rate of inflation, that's something that you really have to pay attention to in investments. And typically, as you see the economy get going, as you see GDP growth take off, you'll also see inflation take off as well. And interest rates are used to help keep inflation in check. So again, as inflation takes off, you're going to see interest rates go up as the Federal Reserve increases those rates to make sure inflation comes down and doesn't get ahead of itself. So those are really the four things to look at. All of those, they're interrelated to each other and will all impact investments, both stocks and bonds.